No, I started preparing for my master's my junior year. Because remember, when I came here, they wanted me to do international relations and eventually go to law school. And I feel like that was when life was telling on me. And I was barely 20 years old. So I was here trying to figure out my life. Like, okay, what am I going to do next? Was it law school? And if it was law school, what are the steps for me to go into law school? But then I was quick realizing that I don't think law school was for me at that moment. Do you understand? Because it wasn't something I was crazy about. It wasn't something I was passionate about. It was what my family wanted me to do. And I knew that going to law school at that moment, I'm gonna suffer and my grades were going to suffer. And I was somebody I won't really call myself a perfectionist, but at the time I was a perfectionist. I wanted to do things right that my heart was, aligned to. So transitioning into grad school was more of figuring out what I wanted to do. Law school was out of the way when I asked my dad, money wise, like how am I supposed to? I mean, I'll look for scholarships, but how am I going to pay for it? And the man started telling me, oh, go, because things started happening, dollar was crashing and whatnot. So I was like, you know what? I guess I'm on my own. And I started looking into, I said grad school it is. That was even the easiest answer, self. I'll not lie to you. It was difficult, but it was easy because then I could focus on one thing. And so with grad school, I started looking, oh my God, I went crazy with grad school applications. I'll not even lie. Statement of intents. First of all, I had to find the schools that I felt were worthy, right? And so I applied to, I've, I streamlined, I'll not even lie to you, like obsessively, up to like 50 plus schools. But when I looked at everything, I was like, I cannot apply to all these schools. Do you understand? Because you need money to apply. And baby girl, I can barely pay my tuition. So I eventually brought it down to three schools. Three schools were University of San Francisco in California. Um, I think it was, I don't know if it was Northern or Southern State, Illinois University, something like that. One school in Illinois, Normandale. Now I cannot remember. And then St. Cloud State University, my school, my current school. And so those three opportunities, the one I really wanted to go to was University of San Francisco, obviously because it was California.
Of
But
course.
then realistic check, California is so fucking expensive. You understand? I even wanted to apply to schools in NYU, and those ones they were always sending me email, oh, apply. But I was like, it's not about applying. When I look at their tuition, who may look, do you understand? I have a attack. But the ones I was eventually able to apply, I think University of San Francisco, I don't know if they even waived the application fee for me. One of these three schools waived the application fee for me. And St. Cloud was quite easier for me because I knew a lot of people and my professors were willing to write references. So it was easy. Um and so, with the majors that I chose, they gave me admission on all three of the schools that, I applied for. But then the problem was now tuition. Do you understand? And so the scholarship package that University of San Francisco was giving me was not enough. Wasn't even up to 10,000. But then the school fees per year was around 40 something K. And I was like, the graduate assistantship that I needed to cover the cost was not available. Like they were not really giving out graduate assistantships at the moment. Even the dude that was talking to the director of the program, because I actually went to San Francisco to see the man. He gave me a campus tour and whatever, but it was not convenient at that time for me, and that was sad. Um, but to answer your question, the transition was not entirely difficult because I planned for it, right? And I started planning from my junior year. I started taking it more seriously my senior year of school, right? I was working and my spare time I was looking at graduate schools, right? And eventually, I think before the end of my um no, not end of senior, I think early senior year, I sent in all my applications, and then before I graduated, I already got all the admissions and even decided where I wanted to go and even applied for GA ship. And St. Cloud was more certain for me because I got the graduate assistantship almost immediately before I graduated. So I had a plan for what I was going to do in the fall, and that was what made up the decision for me. Do you understand? So yeah, it was not too difficult.
So you transitioned from, undergrad to graduate school, and you also
Yes.
transitioned from international relations, PR to IT. How did that happen?
Hey, Jesus. Do you have time? I'm kidding. So the first of all, transitioning, like I said, for my undergrad was not hard. Yeah, undergrad to graduate school was not hard, even though I did OPT that summer, but it did not last long because I was going back to school. And the minute you go back to school, your OPT cuts off
Okay.
because hey, you are going to be in the new status or whatever. Um, Transitioning from my undergraduate degrees to IT was something that was, it was not entirely planned, but it was planned. And I'll explain. So in my undergrad, while I was doing international relations and mass comm, I discovered what I wanted to when I was actively thinking of like grad school and whatnot. Then I thought about, computer information systems, majorly because it was a STEM program, and extending my stay, getting settled, getting experience and whatnot. And
Okay.
so with
Uchechi.
that,
That's why they named you Uchechi.
yeah, exactly.
Wisdom, wisdom.
Exactly. So again, all these things are important facets. As an international student, if you don't take anything away from this interview, please don't take the fact that as an international student, you should not sleep on yourself. Don't sleep on yourself. Every single moment, should keep you on your toes. I mean, I'm not saying you should be restless, but at least you should be well informed of next steps, because if you don't ask questions, you will not know. Do you understand? So I um when I was there, I kind of had a knack for IT, but number one, I wasn't sure I was going to pull through. I mean, I had seen the major my first and second year, especially when I go for all these career fairs, and I wasn't really seeing internships in my field. But all these STEM people are always getting internships, and people that they are looking for, majors that they are sorting after, companies are sorting after certain majors. So in my head, I'm like, I kind of looked through it, but then I was just like, I'm scared of math. So I mean, I know I can do other parts, but I'm kind of scared of math. So I don't know if this is going to be a good fit. So I did not really bother. But then the conviction grew stronger in my junior year when I was looking for, graduate programs. At the time, I had already applied for things related to my undergrad major because I wanted it to be a seamless transition, including the major that I applied for in St. Cloud State. But my original plan was to finish my major, the first major that I applied for in St. Cloud State, and then go back to school for information assurance and cybersecurity. But then I was just like, this is, first of all, unrealistic. Second of all, which graduate assistantship are you going to use to pay for it? Do you understand? Because you're not going to be working, so you'll be
Yeah.
broke. Third of all, how exactly would you want to manage doing two majors at the same time? I mean, it's possible, but is it realistic? Is it feasible? Right? So what I did was I already went through with the process, and I already got admission, and I already got my GA shape. So my first semester was me settling in. And prior to starting, I already started researching about information assurance and whatnot. So immediately I started my first semester in strategic media communications. I reapplied for a different major in information assurance and cybersecurity. And then because I wanted to use that first semester to really learn some background things, do my research, what kind of jobs I'm going to get, what amount, stuff like that. I asked a lot of professors questions. I said, oh, this is my background. I don't know Jack. Where do I even start from? How do I learn and stuff like that? So in a way, they were able to like kind of put me through, and I was able to see myself in some of those majors, and then convinced myself mentally prepared to take that journey. So after I applied, I was like, you know what, it's going to be a whatever situation. If they take me, good. If they don't take me, that's fine. I still don't really have anything to lose. Worst of all, maybe I'll go somewhere else and do a different major. You understand? So anyway, long story short, with having that background, it made the situation kind of easier for me to transition. I got admitted, and then the next semester, which was spring 2017, I started that major properly, right? So my strategic media communication master's program cut off. So I now started the information assurance and cybersecurity major. That was the highest or hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Because like I said, and it was very, very scary. It was a very scary situation because like I said, I did not know Jack. I've always had this perfectionist mentality low key, but I've always wanted to do more and push myself. And my major, my strategic media communications major, sorry to say, was not entirely as challenging as I would like it to be. It was just like a repetition of my undergrad. And some of the people I was in class with came from either different countries, so they did not really have that experience, or they had something to bring to the table, but I didn't really have much because I felt like I've seen everything. Does that make sense? Like I could relate to everything, and that was not challenging enough for me. So, and I wanted something different. So that was basically why I was able to like take the pivot and completely dive into this major with the back of my head. Because hell, one after entering the soup, my ass was paining me. I was like, who sent me errand? Oh God, who sent me message? You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the short story. But yeah.
Okay. So how do you find IT now compared to when you first started?
Woo! I could ask you the same question, Valine. But I find IT interesting. I feel that's the long and short form. Obviously, we are living in a technology-driven society, right? So that was part of the reason why I felt like, you know what, this is actually going to be an in-demand field. And, you know, it was not something that I had from the get-go, but it's something that I'm learning to do and something I'm learning to blend my personality with. And I did not go for the traditional software engineering routes that most people go to. And like I said at beginning of the interview, I'm a business systems analyst, so it's kind of different. I'm more of like, you could call me a translator. I'm an engineering translator. I am that middle liaison between the engineering team and our product or business teams, right? So I take what the business teams want and I talk to the engineering teams and figure out how we could build it, and I kind of plan that process. That's the head and the tail of my job, and I love it because I get to be myself. I get to help people. I get to organize. I get to make sure that things are going on well. And like I said, in the field of IT, you're always learning new things as you go. You get to work with some of the smartest people alive, right? You get to see how things are literally built to enhance and make people's lives better, either the people that are working for the company or people that the company serves in general, right? And so that is, I guess, my big takeaway from IT. And IT is not just one thing. I say this so many times. The fact that I work in IT does not mean I know how to repair your computer. Not lie. There are different arms of it. Do you understand? And people have their own specialties. So, yeah, to answer your question, I'll just say interesting. I'm still learning, so interesting will be my word.
So what would you say to someone who's like, okay, yeah, I want to do what she did. I want to transition into IT, or I'm transitioning from IT to, let's say, international relations, so vice versa. Would you, what can you say to anybody who's having that thought, like, okay, this is, and maybe the person is at a place where they are so unsure, because you mentioned that you have to be mentally
Yes.
prepared. There's a lot of things that you have to consider. But what can you say to that person? Should that person go for it, or just,
It's okay to be unsure. That's what I would tell the person, first of all. It's okay for you to be unsure, because even as a general human being, I don't know about you, Valine, but I'm still figuring my life out. Do you understand? I might wake up 5 years from now and tell you that, yeah, I don't think I want to do technology anymore. I don't think I want to do IT anymore. I want to do something else, right? We are constantly evolving. But in this particular case, and as an international student, I think it would be logically smart for you to delve into this area, but you need to know your why, right? You need to know your why. Do you understand? Because I feel that's important, because if you don't know why, no matter what your why is, though, if I'm being practically honest, no matter what your why is, if you know why you're doing something and know why you can think of the end result of how it can be beneficial to you, I feel it to make the process a little bit more easier for you to make that decision. And if you're able to like weigh out the pros from the cons, it will also make it easier for you to make that decision. Do not go into IT because your friends are going into IT. Don't do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. You are gonna fail, hopefully. Do you understand? If that is your primary pushing factor. Another thing too is from me to you, yes, you can do it. Do you understand? And I'm not just saying it because it's a cliche thing that people say. I'm saying it because it's literally doable. But like I said, mentally preparing yourself is just the first step. Doing your research is another thing. Do you understand? And then knowing the fields that can apply to you as a person is another thing that I feel like could be very, very helpful. So it's one thing to see IT as a field. It's another thing for you to do your research to figure out what IT is, what part of IT, relates to you or can relate to you or can be beneficial to you. It's another thing for you to be mentally prepared for that particular journey. And then it's another thing for you to tailor whatever you do from then on to fit that journey. Do you understand? So I feel like it's a bunch of processes, but if you are adequately informed, if you do your research, you're mentally prepared, and you're physically prepared too, it should be a smooth sailing journey. Yeah.
the one thing that we've not talked about, which I feel is very important,
Yeah.
as much as I'm trying so hard to start looking at the time, is
Yeah.
job searching in the US. Like that is something that we do have to like, what is it like for international students? What are the challenges? What are the options? What is available to what can, because most times I feel like when we're coming, we're not even thinking about landing the job after we just want to jack that stuff.
Jackpot, jackpot,
Yes.
jackpot, jackpot.
Please, can you tell us what it is like? So as you're coming, people have an idea, and also share like experiences or examples that people can actually relate to. I mean, that me and
Girl,
you know that I've called
girl,
severally.
Valine. One name, Valine. I'm right there with you. One name. No, seriously, it's hard. I don't know how else to say it. It's difficult. Do you understand? And coming from somebody that has lost 4 job offers and counting. Do you understand? And when I say job offers, I'm talking both contract and full time. It's every single thing. I feel STEM people, like people that do STEM like you and me, like STEM majors, we are kind of blessed. I won't say lucky. We're blessed because we have an opportunity of do-overs. But the first thing is you have to have something to even do over to begin with, right? Your OPT is what, if you're an international student, you should have an idea of what an OPT is. CPT, OPT. OPT is when you graduate, they give you 1 year of work authorization. And if you're in a STEM major, you could extend that for 2 more years. That's the head and the tail of it. But with the way things have been going the last few years, to even get a company to have a conversation with you is difficult based on the fact that you are just an international student. So it's not bad enough that you have to do the work to even get noticed by the employers. That's basic every job employer kind of, struggle, and then figuring out your resume, all that shebang. Another thing is when you eventually get their attention, the minute they know you're an F1 student or the minute they know you're on a work visa, they just terminate the call, you know? And and basically because in their mind they're like, oh, this person is not, I mean, you are of value, but then we don't know your capabilities yet. We don't know how you're going to help us yet because you might need sponsorship to stay here for longer. You understand? And in a way you can't blame them. Sorry guys, if you hear that noise. You can't blame them, but you at the same time it's frustrating because it's like, okay, so why do you give me the work authorization if I'm not going to use it or if it's going to be useless? Do you understand? That was like my last conversation with the last employer that I had. And one thing I'm going to tell international students without going too much into many details because of time is have many options. Have many options. All those contract jobs that you're scared of applying to, guess what? They're the ones that are keeping me afloat right now. So guess what? Apply for them, right? Apply for them and don't turn down any job offer just yet until you are sure. Do you understand that? By sure, I mean you are sure that they are maybe aware of your status and you are ready to start. Do you understand? Or at least that would be my own takeaway. I completely relate with people that are going through hell. But another thing I'll give as a tip is for you to utilize that network called LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is very helpful. There's a way to set up LinkedIn in such a way that the employees, or let's say, sorry, not employees, now we need employers. We want to be the employee. So the employers come to you, right? So you could set up your profile in such a way that they will come to you. And how do you set up your profile? Make sure that your picture is looking professional. That's number one. Make sure that your experiences are up to date. If possible, put the things that you are doing in each experiences so they see what is, what can be relatable to the job that you're looking for. Make sure you go to your settings and put the locations of the jobs that you're looking for, put the titles that you're looking for, and save those settings because they will help you. When the employer is going through your profile, they're going to actually see those things. Don't limit yourself, right? Make sure United States, if you're looking for jobs, obviously we are talking because we are looking for jobs in the United States. So if you're looking for jobs in the United States, make sure that United States is there. Make sure maybe where you are locally is there, and then any other place you might want to go to is also there. Deleting and uploading your resume, that thing works like magic. And I don't think a lot of people kind of knows about it, because the reason, or let's say the idea behind that, is employers every weekend, they use LinkedIn as a tool to find new talent, right? Or at least that's what I have imagined, right? And in that process, when they're finding new talent, they only see a refreshed resume, like new resumes have just been uploaded, right? The most recent one. So if you're always deleting and uploading, especially during the weekends, you could do it every day if you want, but if you don't have the strength, doing it every weekend, they'll be able to at least see it. And by every weekend, I mean Sunday. They'll be able to see your resume if they should search for certain roles, right? And I feel those tips are very, very important. And also make sure you don't have a choice at this. I mean, you have a choice, but you technically don't really have too much of a choice, right? Because you're on borrowed time, right? Sir?
Okay.
So sorry about that. So delete and re-upload your resume, delete, re-upload, and hopefully the employers will come to you. Oh, the last thought I was saying was put your resume in every job searching platform that you can think of. Monster, Daiso, LinkedIn, no, Way Up. Those are things I can think of the top of my head. And always make sure that you are maybe not as active, even if you're not as active on LinkedIn, make sure you are kind of active. You're liking people's comments, because that is for visibility. If you like somebody's comment and somebody else that is your friend or your connection can actually see that you've liked that person, they can even see that you've liked that person post or article or whatever, even when you're not even related to them or you're not their connection. And out of curiosity, if they should see actively looking or actively seeking opportunities in your bio, they will actually go and search you out and see what you're about, right? So please be active, follow thought leaders in areas that you are very, very interested in, right? If you are interested in tech, and interested in product management, you're interested in project management, follow thought leaders or influencers on LinkedIn that are posting things or posting content related to that. There are many international students that are like, mouthpieces on LinkedIn that I feel like will be absolutely a wonderful resource for you to actually, follow and learn from. So all these things are trial and errors. They are experiences, but we learn from them. And that's what we do as international students. But most importantly, please do not sleep on yourself. Every opportunity, every piece of information that you get is useful. So yeah.
Is it finished?
Yes, it is. more information to come. I wish we could do like a part 1, part 2, part 3,
As
because
in,
there's
like,
so much to talk about.
I
So
think
much.
we can actually do that. Because I'm like, I'm just listening. It's like you're pouring water in my head. I'm like, the sleep has gone. The sleep has
Yes.
gone. I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying it. And and as because I feel that these are things people don't know.
They don't know.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Favor. This was really an insightful. I don't know what else to call it, but I know that it was just like the way I'm feeling. I don't know if you're watching this, are you feeling that way? And if you are feeling that way, please comment down below. Hashtag favorites, because that's what she calls her family members.
I'm a favorite. I'm a favorite. I'm a favorite subscriber. Yes.
Yes. Comment
That's
down below. Hashtag favorite, because she just killed it. Like, she was very detailed. She was open about her experiences. She did not even hide anything. She was very open. And that's one good thing that you people should take advantage of, because you rarely find people, especially people that are from an African environment, who are not used
yes.
to exposing
No.
ourselves.
We
We
always
are
hold
told
on
not
to
to do so. When you
yes.
do so, it's like you are it's a taboo. Like, that's how we're raised. So when you see African internationals like on a YouTube channel, who are content creators, exposing themselves, sharing their experiences, please don't sleep on their channels. So that's why you need to ensure that you're subscribed to Favor's channel if you haven't already. Thank
But
you so much. I really, really appreciate you for doing this. And I believe that we covered everything. The only thing we didn't discuss is the cost of living, because
yes.
most of the time you stayed with your family, and then you also were an
That's
RA. Yeah, you are a
yes.
resident assistant too, so
Yeah.
that one was covered. So,
My
but
last year school, but then I stayed in an apartment throughout my graduate school, and that was a whole different experience on its own. But it wasn't bad cost wise because I was sharing an apartment with somebody else. All my life I've only like all through the time I was staying in an apartment, I only lived with one person technically. So one roommate, one other roommate, which is very advisable because living on your own is expensive, except your father is Omo Baba Olowo. We are still
Obio.
managed you know. So yeah, I'm just saying, But yeah, that's basically what it was. So yeah.
Okay, so to end this, what would you say you've learned has been your biggest lessons learned as an international student here?
As an international student, oh my God, that's a very big loaded question. But as an international student, let me be philosophical. Trusting in the power of my strength as a person and how unique I am. Because I've learned that when I came here at first, I wanted to blend in. I wanted to be like everybody else. But with time, I kind of understood that that is so not cool, right? There's a reason why you're different. There's a reason why you are, now I say, unique. Um, and so don't think that your experiences don't matter. Trust me. God, you are not boring. You are not boring as an international student. I stress the G so you know how important that is. Do you get? Because trust me, at the core of it, even though you don't seem like, oh, it's important or whatever, people really want to hear your story because they want to hear something different from what they're used to. I mean, no shade, but it's the truth, right? What that experience that you think is not necessary, that experience that you think that is not useful, both in the in your work life or in your personal life, is very needed. At the core of it, being a human being, everybody needs stories like that, uplifting stories of, hard work, stories of even leaving your family, because that's a risk, stories of coming to a completely different country and, building all these memories. It's quite inspiring. I've had people actually say out loud to me, I don't think I can ever do that. You are very brave. And at such a young age, you know. So don't ever see yourself as boring. Your your culture is very valuable, whatever that is. Do not discard your culture. Your language is strong, it makes you different and it makes you unique. I feel that's like my one big overwhelming lesson. You're unique, period.
And that's it from Favor Ojika, and we've come to the end of this interview. If you don't know, this is Just Say It with Favor Ojika, and
Please
I.
subscribe. Please subscribe. See, I got into my podcast zone. I actually have my microphone here, so I'm actually going to be shooting two things once I'm done. So,
Oh
anyways,
my
please
God,
guys.
so I need to, oh my goodness. Oh, so I've been cutting into your time like this. Hey,
It's
please
completely fine.
send us the link to that podcast.
I got
Comment
you.
this
I
video
got you.
drops.
No,
You understand?
thank you so much, Valine, for having me. I have not really talked extensively like this about all my experiences in a very long time. So I really, really appreciate, the opportunity of being here and sharing with people that are watching. So please, so if you've been watching this thing since are you not subscribed to Valine's channel? I don't know what you're doing. Please subscribe for our channel. You already made it to this point. Just do the right thing now. Like it. Like it. Thank you.
God
Mm.
bless you. But did you guys, okay, I was going to say,
Go ahead.
please, are you guys following our Instagram? She's a celebrity.
This guy, you can watch somebody with Omo and blush. What is all this? You that we are supposed to be begging to
I'm
cut.
serious, I'm not joking. Guys, follow her on Instagram.
I've
She
not
has
been active on Facebook. I say Facebook, Instagram in
not been
months.
active. It doesn't change the fact that
Anywhere, yeah. But I'm coming. I'll come back. Let me
it's
not say
coming
I'm
back
coming.
full force, especially this
Yes,
June. So guys,
yes,
watch out.
yes.
So
So
I think it's Favor Ojika on
yeah,
Instagram as well.
on all platforms at this point is Favor Chika. So
Yeah, that's a good thing though. Because my own, I think, is Valin also too.
mhm.
Yeah, for some people, it's really hard for you to like find your name. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so very much. I don't know how to end it. I think that's my problem. I don't know how to say bye-bye, see you later. This is the end of this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I remain Valin Hossein, and I pledge to never give up, and I hope that you do same. Bye, guys.
Woo!
That's how I end it too. But
So end it. No problem. End it. It's all good.
thank you, Favor.
No,
I really appreciate this. I'll check in later. Man, those eyes are killing.
I wanted to do something exotic for this because I was like, I don't have the energy to be wearing makeup, so exotic
Something different.
you
Yeah.
know.
As the rich auntie that you are.
I mean, who am I kidding?
As in,
Look at me. If you see the way you think I'm going
Chioma and Paul.
my battery is about to die and I need to go answer my uncle. So we'll talk later. Bye, boo boo.
Bye.
Bye.